Welcome. We are a mother-daughter podcast about all things surrogacy. Together, we have brought 8 beautiful babies into this world, and we would like to share through education and knowledge about surrogacy with those who want to educate themselves on the topic. This is Stop.Sit.Surrogate. This episode is sponsored by US Surrogacy LLC. If you've ever dreamed of helping grow a family or are hoping to grow your own, US Surrogacy LLC is here to guide you every step of the way. They are a dedicated surrogacy agency committed to supporting intended parents and surrogates through a compassionate, ethical, and well-supported journey. US Surrogacy LLC works with amazing women who want to make a life-changing difference by becoming a surrogate, while also helping intended parents experience the incredible gift of parenthood. Their team focuses on transparency, strong communication, and personalized support so that everyone involved feels confident, cared for, and informed throughout the entire process. If you've ever considered becoming a surrogate, or if you're an intended parent exploring your options, US Surrogacy LLC is ready to help you take that next step. To learn more about their programs and how you can get started, visit us-surrogacy.com. That's us-surrogacy.com. And now let's get into today's episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Stop.Sit.Surrogate. Today, we're going to do something a little different. So we are talking with a wonderful guest who I'm going to let her introduce herself in a second. But today we are going to really touch on match meetings. What's involved? What the heck is it? Are they really that scary? What's it all about? So, would my lovely guest like to introduce herself?
Thank you so much, Kennedy. Thank you for having me. My name is Kimberly Hennessy. I am the program director at US Surrogacy LLC.
Oh my gosh. Now we'll get into matching in just a second. What's a program director?
Oh, yeah. What is that? It's kind of evolved as I've had that role.
Okay.
But I touch all parts of the program. And so we have an amazing admin team that does the intake and admissions with our surrogates. And then I do that final review with the surrogate before they match. And so
Fun.
during my final review with them, we go over everything that's on their profile in their medical records review, which is another thing our team does. They go through the medical records before sharing the profile. But before that profile gets shared out, I meet with her and I talk about her hopes for the journey, what type of family she'd like to match with. I know what the profile says, but I'd like to dig in a little bit deeper, right?
Yeah.
And because we have all different family types in our program, so, 2 dads, 2 moms, traditional couples, single moms, single dads, we really have domestic and international. We really have the right match for everyone. And so it's just sitting with her, taking that time. If she says, I'm open to matching with everyone, wonderful. And then I do like to dig in a little bit deeper and see, is there someone on the top, right? Like a family type that's on the top of that. Right. So that's the profile part. And so I do that last part. And then in addition to that, I meet with most of our intended parents on their first entry into our program. Wow. So as they're learning about our program, I like to touch on the special things about our agency, but also every time I meet with them, I like them to walk away with kind of an outline, if you will, for the other questions to ask other agencies. And so just giving them a little bit more power in the conversation, a little bit more knowledge, and a little bit more strength to choose the agency partner that's best for them.
Wow, you are everywhere. Good for you. So you know a lot about what it takes, and you were just saying about the matching part. So let's kind of jump into that. So because you mentioned surrogate first, maybe we'll do that side. Plus I'm a surrogate myself, so
yes,
I'll understand that a bit more. But we will talk about the intended parents because I've always been curious. But so by the time she reaches you, is her profile made?
Yeah. She works with our admissions team to make her profile. And so she shares the pictures, she fills out the questions, and then sometimes there's some fine tuning to a sentence or maybe the way that she answered a question. We want her to add a little bit more there, right? And so, it's collaborative, but it's mostly driven by her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so your profiles,
Mhm.
once they go live, like, so when I've done profiles, it's like pictures and like this is, basically it was like pictures of me, who
Yeah.
my support team was kind of, so like my parents and my
Exactly.
family and my
Yeah.
son and like these are the things I like to do and here's my cute little dog and
Yeah.
just like kind of like a Bumble dating app like
Yes.
situation like here I am.
Yes.
So is it similar for you guys as well?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
very similar to that. We add in current medication that she's on,
Oh,
medications that she's taken in the past, and her pregnancy history. So
okay.
also looking at, how many pregnancies did she have? How many deliveries did she have? How much did the babies weigh? How long did they
Oh, wow.
gestate?
Okay.
Really giving the parents kind of a lens if she had vaginal deliveries or C-sections, combination of the two, just a really good feeling about not only about her support system, like you said, which is
Yeah.
very important. Thank
Super
you for bringing
important.
that up,
Yeah.
but also her pregnancy history and her why, right? Why did she
Right.
want to become a surrogate?
Well, okay, so the intended parents get to, when they look at the profiles,
Mhm.
they get to see all of that. So it's like this
Yeah.
whole summary. What is left for question, I guess, for them? Like no, but like really, like is there or
Yeah,
is it like, yeah, I've read it 100%, I have no
true,
questions because it's so informative, or are there like obviously there's probably going to be those like one-offs where they're like what about this or what about that? But
sure.
majority all the information is kind of just at the fingertips. Yeah.
Yeah, great, great, Kennedy. Yeah, so what is deeper than the profile? It's kind of expanding on each of those things.
Okay.
Like in our match call, we talk about how those pregnancies went for you, right? Did you have any complications? And then on the match meeting I just did, I think it was Sunday, we talked about cravings that she had. I didn't
Oh,
bring it up, but when I went over to her husband, he said, "Let's talk about your cravings." And with each baby was a different craving. And
oh,
so and really those things um also welcome the parents into the discussion and
yeah.
kind of the fun of like, I wonder what the craving will be with this baby, right?
Right.
And so it's like almost a talking point, and that's like the first time that's ever happened on a match call, but I think it's kind of fun. And
Yeah.
anyways,
No, that
so
is fun.
yeah,
So,
so digging
oh,
in deeper
sorry.
to
Yeah.
the pregnancy, sorry,
No, you're
digging in
good.
deeper to the pregnancy, and then also how did she recover? Like, how did she
Oh,
feel? And so there's just that opportunity to say, it was really easy with baby number one and baby number two, but baby number three, took me a little longer to recover, or the baby was in the NICU, or
okay.
just any complications that she had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all that is listed for them to read.
Great question. Kind of. It's
Okay.
it's baseline in the profile, but then during the match call, we go deeper
Oh, you
into
go
that.
deeper.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
But it's not going to be like a huge shocker when it comes to match call because it's kind of
Correct.
like a little sneak peek was kind of given in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well
And
that's
that's
great.
such a good question, Kennedy. Sorry I didn't get there.
No, you're good.
It does talk about problems or complications in the
Oh,
profile. That's
wow.
also listed on there. Yeah.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
see, I've only ever seen my own, and I don't even know if that's how it looks to other people. Because they're like,
Sure.
review it, and so I'm like, review it, and I'm like, yeah, it's cute. I know I made
Yeah.
it. Like, I
Yeah.
don't like what am I supposed to do here? So that's no, but that's like really cool. So then let's flip it now. So
Mhm. Sure.
intended parents make a profile, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. They
Is
do.
what is listed for the surrogate to read
Yeah.
on that?
Absolutely. Happy to share that. They get photos, and
Okay.
so we ask for no selfies if we can help it, right? If you have photos available that are not selfies, send those.
Good
And
luck.
so I know it's a combination, right?
Yeah.
Because we want them also to be current
Right.
photos, not the
Right.
family photo you took 5 years ago.
Right.
But we talk about, well, in their profile is a letter to the surrogate,
Oh,
so their reason why, how did they come into surrogacy, why do they need a surrogate, or how are they looking at that option to build their family,
oh
and
wow.
then what clinic they're working with, how those embryos were created, so with the help of an egg donor or not, if those embryos have been genetically tested, how many they have, right?
Wow.
So if they have
Okay.
5 embryos or 3 embryos or 8 embryos, kind of a
Yeah.
picture. And also where they're located. Not their city specifically, but I might say like Washington State, like
Yeah.
that kind of idea there.
Okay.
And then yeah, and then in the letter they'll share about what their hopes for are in parenting, and also how they hope to navigate this relationship with her. And so
Wow.
I really do feel like the surrogate gets a very good idea of who they are
That's
just in
great.
their letter. And the letter, we give a few small prompts on like, make sure that you talk about your why, make sure that you talk about your
Yeah.
hopes. And that's really all they're given. So who they are really does come through in the letter.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Because over my, I've been matched several times, but I've been on 4 journeys, and only one of them I had a letter, and that was my most
Wow.
recent one. And so all the other ones, there were no letters. There was just, I mean, maybe there were letters, but it was more so like this is who we are. It was never like
Sure.
kind of like a letter to me as much as I can remember.
Sure.
So that's pretty cool because I remember
Thank
my
you.
my mom,
Yeah.
she back in the day, they made scrapbooks.
Oh,
Like
I
they
love
made
that.
full on scrapbooks and my mom got to like flip through it and like, and that's how she, at least that's for her second journey, that's how she was like, "Oh, this is it." Like because there's so much dedication in it. So
Mhm.
for
I
them to
love
just have
that.
two
It's so
two
cool.
templates, right? But for
Yeah.
them to have two templates or like two
Yeah.
prompts to go off of and then kind of just like go from there, that's really gonna show their personality and like kind of like let them shine, which is
Absolutely.
huge. And I find that so fascinating. None of my, well, two of my couples were same sex males. So
Mhm.
obviously I knew why they needed a surrogate. But
Yeah.
my my third couple was a heterosexual couple and I never knew why. I was
Oh,
never told the why. Not that I need to be told the why,
sure.
but it is always like a thing in the back of your mind like, I wonder
Yeah.
can I hug you? Like do we talk about it? Do we not talk about it as a
Yeah.
quiet thing? So I do think that that's kind of like a nice little just like a
Yeah.
nice little tidbit to kind of just like let her, the surrogate in on it
Mhm.
as well and be like, hey, like, life's been life
Yeah.
and we're here
Yeah.
and we really want this. And like, yeah, I think that's it's a
Yeah.
very cool way to do it.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Um, you learn so much, right? How long have they been trying? And
Yeah.
and I love to see that partnership between the two of them. I love to see that. And they'll talk about what strengths one partner has versus the other, this kind of thing and how they navigated this together. And I love that. And then when we get on that match call, we do dig into that a little bit deeper. And I'm jumping ahead here, so I'll
No, you're
stop. But
not. You know you're not.
in the match call, if I notice like really nervous or shy energy, I always bring up how they met each other.
Oh, fun.
And and that has been like an icebreaker because, and I don't do it all the time, but if it's shy or people are kind of quiet, then I bring that up because you see this like natural smile come on their faces. You see like this teasing with the other partner, and it's just really, really fun. And more times than not, the parents have met the same way that the surrogate met her partner. And so
No way.
if it was a dating app or if
Oh my
and
gosh.
then, so they quietly let them finish, and then they say we met that way too, and then they go they go into their story, and it's
So cute.
been
I got the goosebumps. That's so cute. That's really cute. Like
it's like,
what are the odds?
yeah, commonality that they didn't know they both had.
Right.
It's
If
neat.
that's not a little sign, I mean, come on. Let's,
Yeah.
you gotta pick them.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
funny. Okay, so Surrogate and IP have looked at the profiles. Are
Yeah.
they each given just one to look at so it's not overwhelming, or is it kind of like I've gotten three at a time before.
Yeah. For our agency, we match just one surrogate at a time.
Okay.
And I think that it really comes from all the pre-screening that we do. So the records review, the MFM, which is the maternal fetal medicine specialist, reviews the records as well.
Hmm.
the psychology, the meeting with the psychologist, looking at her support system, all of the screening that we do before background checks, before we share the profile, that really lends itself to maybe one or two surrogates a week that are matching.
Wow.
And then that, so say, right currently we're matching 8 to 10 a month, but
Wow. Okay.
um, but you think about having one or two surrogates, and depending on what the hopes are for the surrogate in her match, and the parents what they're looking for in a match, really we're just usually sharing one profile, and
Okay.
I share that one profile. They say yes, and then it's like sending records over to the clinic and setting up a match call. So movement usually happens that very week
Oh,
that we're
wow.
sharing profiles.
So who gets to see who first?
Yep,
Because I know every
great
agency is
question.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Ours, I wouldn't say we have a one way to do it.
Okay.
I think that if the surrogate is really strong in what she wants, then I'd probably send parent
Her.
profiles to her first
Okay.
and have her pick, and then I send them to the parent.
Sure.
But Kennedy, always knowing um, that it's a good match choice,
Yeah.
and a good match choice based on clinic criteria, about also on the hopes of the parent, also in the way that the embryos were created and the state that the surrogate lives. So, looking at the laws in the state where she lives,
Okay.
and making sure that that is a safe match for the parents. So,
Right.
even if she wanted a certain type of family, I'm going to, before I send profiles even to her, I'm going to make sure that it's really a match that could go forward, and be well supported.
Isn't that crazy that every state is
Yes.
so drastically
Yes.
different?
Yes. Yes.
It's too
Yeah.
many states. That's too many laws to keep up with, I
Yeah.
swear. I can barely keep
And
up with California. It's like,
sure. And it's one of the things when I get that like introduction email from our admissions team, it's immediately what I do. I pull up her profile, and I pull up the state and the laws in that state, and then I like prepare myself for the call with her so that
wow.
I can make the most out of that call with her
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
And then we kind of just jump into families. I'm usually sending profiles to her that same day.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, what a
Sometimes the following.
dream. That's so nice. It is funny though, because it takes a really long time to get to that matching,
It
like making your
does.
profile and everything. And then once you get there,
Yeah,
oftentimes it is like roll, 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 roll. And then you hit a
right.
pause again when it comes to legal. But like
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
hit the profile part, it does go
Mm-hmm.
quick. So then, okay, so they're like, hey Kimberly, we like you, like we like the surrogate. Hey Kimberly, I
Yeah,
like the intended parents.
yeah.
And you're like, cool, like setting up a match call that week.
Uh-huh. Yeah, most of the time.
Okay,
Mhm.
and is it if surrogate has a spouse or a partner, that person is in on the call? Is that
Yeah.
mandatory?
It's not mandatory for
Okay.
us, but we invite them to be in on the call.
I mean,
And
that's
then
healthy.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then sometimes you're juggling the kids at
Oh,
the same
sure.
time. And so what happens, not all the time, but enough times that he might be there for part of the call,
Sure.
and then maybe the beginning, the introduction, and then he'll leave to go take care of the kids. And sometimes he'll pop back in, and sometimes he'll leave. It
Sure.
just kind of depends on what they've got going on.
Okay.
Other times, grandma has the kids, or lots of different ways. But I also say, like, don't worry if your kids are on screen, because they know your parents, right? Like, you had to be for the
Yeah.
for the surrogate. She has to be a parent.
Right.
And so
Oh, right. Like,
yeah.
because we always do show up very, I won't say always, but more times than not, we're like, okay, poised and professional. And it's kind of like a job interview. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, like, here we go. So,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I get that. But you're right. Like, in order to be a surrogate, you need to be a parent. So
Right.
it's okay.
Yeah. And as long as she can concentrate on the call, it's the kids are welcome to be there as well. Um, yeah, it's personal to everyone, depending on the age of the kids, and how much attention they need of her.
Totally makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so they're in the match call. How does that whole process work?
Sure.
Yeah.
I start by saying that everyone is nervous, and everyone is nervous in the match call, right?
Yeah.
You've seen each other's information on the profile, but now this is a time that's really vulnerable, and we're going to dig into everything a little bit deeper. And it's vulnerable for both of you. And I would say at this point where you're in a match call, everyone wants to be liked, right?
So true.
Yeah. And so how I talk about it beforehand is like I send over some tips and some guidelines,
Oh,
and then I talk about this being your coffee date, your first coffee date. You're sitting down with someone who maybe is a new coworker, or like in trying to make it different than this important meeting about a surrogacy journey. But I
right.
say, imagine that you're sitting down with someone for coffee. You're going to ask those introductory questions,
Yeah.
and then as you kind of feel how that match meeting's going, then things go a little bit more deeply. And I'm on the call. I would say almost 100% of the time I'm on the call,
Okay.
but I'll be on the call and I'll help guide. And so, but most of the time they don't really need me. But I
Okay.
start with introductions. I have the parents talk about themselves first. And so we talk about where they live, what they do for work, a little bit about their families, right? Where do their families live? Um, and so they'll talk about their nieces and nephews, or their friends with kids, or what they do for work. And it's just really lovely. And then at that time, if I see some nervousness, right, or some shyness,
Yeah.
some short sentences, then I might bring up the "How did you meet?" And
Sure.
that kind of brings smiles and a calmness to the meeting. And once we hear about them, then I go over to her and I have them talk about themselves and where they live and their family, and what they do for work, etc., what they do for fun. We dig into that. What are your hobbies?
Yeah.
And lots of times there too, there's connections that nobody knew about before,
Oh,
right?
so
Whether it's board
funny.
games or basketball or hockey, or a
Yeah.
certain author. Like we've had so many different types of
How
connections, and
funny.
it's just people opening up and
Yeah.
letting their true selves be present.
Right.
And that helps with connection, right? So that's really
Yes.
lovely.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and then after that, I talk about her pregnancies and I say, tell us a little bit about your pregnancies and how they went for you. And
Okay.
so then we go into each one and we talk about
Wow.
everything. And then at the end of that, when she's done talking about the pregnancies, I talk about, I see in your medical records that you followed all the doctor's instructions, or that that really everything was uncomplicated. When you think about this next pregnancy journey, do you have any things that you'd like to do differently? Are there
Oh,
any questions you have for the parents? I really open that up because I know that this is what happened in baby number one and baby number two.
right.
But with this pregnancy, do you hope for something different? And that could be like a different delivery hospital, that could be a, vaccinations, that could be pregnancy monitoring. I mean, I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
just opening that door to really have that conversation,
Okay.
for them to say what their hopes are. And that's on the surrogate side first. And then I go over to that intended parents and I say, do you have any special requests? Right?
Oh,
If it was Kennedy, I'll say,
yeah.
do you have any special requests for Kennedy during this pregnancy? And then, thank goodness, most of them say, no. we,
Oh,
we, we trust that she knows how to do this, right? She knows how to
right.
do pregnancy well, and have an uncomplicated pregnancy. Every once in a while, I'll have parents talk about diet,
I was gonna say eating.
exercise.
I
Yeah.
wanted to jump into
Yeah.
that really quick, and I'm
Yeah.
just
Go
gonna,
ahead.
because
Yeah.
the it's usually from those who are not in the community, or those who like are learning about it,
Sure.
and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" Like whenever I tell people how to start, they're like, "Oh, so you had to eat really healthy? Like you were forced to eat a certain diet?" And I'm like, "No, never. I got hamburgers all the time." I that is not true. For me, it wasn't true. Do so it's funny that you bring that up.
Mhm.
Um, is because there is, where I'm getting at, like that
Yeah.
organic life, like
Yeah.
super, like sometimes it's vegetarian or
Right.
or vegan or
Absolutely.
or whatever
Mhm.
it is. So I'm curious. Is that a very common request that you see?
For us, with the parents that we currently have, I'd say less than 10% asked for that.
That's not a lot.
And then when I'm looking at those surrogate profiles, that is something I'm looking at, right?
Oh,
If
so
they,
you're looking already if they're vegetarian or willing to go vegetarian, like
yeah,
that type of thing?
yeah,
Oh, look
or
at
that they
that.
also have a strict diet. And so what I found, and it's not like an exact science, but
Yeah.
what I found is if the surrogate puts that on her profile,
Uh-huh.
what she eats or how she exercises or she avoids this,
Yeah.
that's telling me something about her because
Okay.
that's her own response to the very open question.
Yeah,
So
it's
when
just like a
she's
normal
yeah,
thing.
when
Yeah.
she's answering it, that's an indication that oh, she might be a great match for this couple. And so then I
Okay.
dig into that a little bit deeper before I put them together on the match
Right.
call. I
Okay.
really don't want to surprise her about dietary restrictions on the match call.
Okay.
But if they had special hopes for, you know, organic, we would look at that more closely before we got them together on a call.
I feel like that's very
Yeah,
reassuring. I feel like
yeah.
that's the first time I've
Thank you.
heard that in a response to that
Oh, good.
question. Because
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I
Mhm.
do have to eat a very specific diet because my stomach hates me. So like I'm just very limited by things, like not by
Sure.
choice.
Sure. Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
it is I was asked on a
Mhm.
match call like one time, would you eat organically? And I was like, okay. Like they're like, we'll give you well because oftentimes I do hear and they did.
Mhm.
They were like, we'll give you an extra, stipend for you to just buy the organic broccoli, buy the organic this. And I'm like,
Sure.
okay, if that's gonna make you feel better, I'm still eating broccoli. Like I don't care. Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
but yeah. Okay, that's nice to know that like you're kind of like I'm gonna read the profiles and not be like, hey, this person who's a straight up carnivore, we're
Mhm.
gonna put her in a meeting with somebody who wants a vegetarian.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
that would be a
Yeah.
little bit of a shock.
Yeah, it really would be. And it would be hard to navigate after that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like, oh, I have to go now.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
tricky. It would be
So
tricky for
funny.
sure.
Okay, I'm sorry. So
You're good.
if the parents do have, special requests
Mhm.
or not requests, but things that they would like to see maybe happen in this pregnancy,
Yeah.
that's the time that they would say is after she gives her response, then they would give
Yeah.
their response.
Yeah.
And then you work to what? When does the
Yeah.
how
Then
long are these
you
calls?
an hour.
Okay,
An
that's a
hour.
lot of information to get done in an hour.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. It is. It totally is, right?
Yeah.
And it can go longer. Like there's room in my schedule to go longer if it organically goes longer. I'm happy
Yeah.
to stay present with them. What usually happens next is we talk about relationship. And so,
Oh,
when you think about some of the requests that parents might have, one of those questions might be, can we come to some of the appointments? Do you welcome us to be present? And depending on where the parents live and their availability to come, um, they maybe will come to as many appointments as they can, depending on what works also for the surrogate. But we
okay.
talk about the anatomy scan, and that's a really valuable appointment to come to, and that's actually worth the time. Right. So it's 2 hours long. Usually those anatomy scans are 2 hours long.
Are
So,
they?
yeah.
No,
So
Kimberly, I'm
if
about
they
to go have one on Monday. I
I'm
didn't know they
sorry,
were that
maybe
long.
they're shorter. Maybe they're shorter, but not by far. Not by
Oh
far.
my gosh.
But so they're welcome to come to that appointment, and that appointment is much different than those quick
Very, and those are
15-minute
fun. That's a
appointments.
fun appointment.
Yeah,
Not the
it
let's
is a
measure your
fun appointment.
belly and hear the heartbeat and
Yeah,
we're out in 2 minutes. Like
yeah,
that's not worth the plane ride, if you ask
right,
me.
right. I completely agree.
Yeah, like I can
Completely
record
agree.
that for you.
Yes,
Like, yeah.
yes, and thank you for bringing that up. A lot of surrogates do record the
Yeah.
ultrasounds. They do ask the doctor if they can, have the parents on the call. And,
Aw.
different doctors are going to have different comfort levels. And
Yeah.
I do agree that some of the appointment should be private to her. It is her
Mhm.
body, and I want her
Yeah.
to be able to ask the questions if something's on her mind, to have that privacy with her physician.
Yeah,
So, definitely bring them in when the time is right for
for sure.
her, and if the doctor allows. But yeah, that's so that conversation takes place. And
Okay.
then we talk about updates, how often would the parents like to be updated? And then also, does that work for her? Is that something she's felt, like a weekly update feels right for her also?
Okay.
And so, really talking about that and what does it really look like and how does it feel? Does it feel hard for her to think about also updating them, right? Or
Right.
will she just be updating them after the appointment? Really just kind of seeing where everyone's at on that and what feels
Yeah.
good. And then that's during the pregnancy, during the journey. And then also talking about the delivery room.
I was gonna ask, does that get talked
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
Because that's a big one.
yeah. Yeah, will she welcome them to the delivery room? And I always like say, they're strangers to you today, but
Yeah.
as this journey goes on, hopefully they're not strangers to you
Yeah.
anymore, right? That
Right.
communication and that friendship has grown and they're not strangers anymore. And so
Yes.
not knowing everything now because we can't always see the future, but
Correct.
do you have thoughts or feelings around that? And so listening to what her hopes are around the delivery room and also listening to their hopes.
Hmm.
And most of the time, almost all of the time, from parents, they say we want her to be comfortable, right? Whatever
Yeah,
is
I've
most
heard that
comfortable
too.
to her, we will honor her wishes completely.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's nice too.
very nice. It is
Yeah.
nice. And when they ask, when I've been in meetings, always said like,
Mhm.
because you do just meet them and you're like, I might like you today, but I
Yeah,
don't know if I'm gonna like you at the end of this. Like I just speak from my own experience, but like, so I've learned to just be like, yeah, as long as our relationship is healthy and organic and, we get along and we can communicate and we have respect for one another,
yeah.
I'm more than happy to welcome you into the room. Like this is your moment. Like,
Yes.
so, and it's just because I can never give a guarantee. I'm like, whew,
Of
I don't know,
course.
guys.
And I don't,
Yeah,
that's the thing about relationships. They're not a guarantee.
they're
It,
not.
it's really being thoughtful of the other person, considering them always. And that is a relationship. If you think about even your partnership with my husband's in the other room,
Mhm.
but even thinking about that, like I have to consider his opinion and his thoughts and his body. And, like I need to, especially in a pregnancy journey, consider
Right.
consider the other person.
Yes. No, I
Yeah.
completely agree. Those darn men. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Um, I do wonder, Kimberly,
Yeah.
when you're in these meetings,
Mhm.
can you tell? Because I'm assuming you've kind of talked to both of them
Yeah.
outside of the meeting, right?
Yes.
So can you tell if they're being, I don't want to say like authentically them, but like, them to a degree, and like that this match is in fact possibly a very good one? Or sometimes do you walk away being like, I don't know, maybe not. Like I'm just
Okay.
curious.
Yeah, great question. The great thing is that most of the time we get it right, right?
Okay.
Most of the time we put people together who really are going to be a great match and,
Yeah.
and support for each other. There have been times where the match meeting didn't feel as full
Okay.
as it could have, right? And so maybe people weren't as um,
Forthcoming.
forthcoming, but maybe also as vulnerable as they needed to be. So
Sure. That's a huge part.
you didn't need to protect all of your words, right? You could just be you.
Yeah,
And like I said in the very beginning, maybe that's also commonality, maybe that part. And so part of it I
yeah,
think is nerves.
for sure.
Nerves, and it's kind of stressful, right?
Yeah.
And then I think part of it is like wanting to make sure that I don't know, that they're not judged. It's just tricky. It's
It
just
is.
tricky.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it is like a job interview.
it is.
I hate to put it like that, but it
It
is. It's the
is.
same feelings and it's the same nerves and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, am I gonna get it? Like, are we gonna
Right.
do this
Right.
together? Are we not?
And then
Like, both parties are in a job interview.
and then also having the time to say like these are the questions I have for you.
Yeah,
And that's kind of
it's
how we end
hard.
the
Yeah.
meeting. And we're not quite there yet, but we end the meeting by circling back and making sure that all of their questions have been answered.
Oh wow.
And sometimes I see even more of people during that, like, opening the door to questions. Because
Sure.
then they'll say like, okay, let me look at my list, and then, oh yeah, I want to circle back on this, or
Right.
I want to ask this question.
Yeah.
Um, Kennedy, another thing that we talk about in our match calls is uh, if an embryo splits. So
Oh, yeah.
we're doing single embryo transfers
Only.
for
Okay.
us, yeah.
Okay.
Single embryo transfers, and so there's a 3% chance that that one embryo could split into two. And so
3%.
I always go, yep, it's not zero, but it's
Maybe.
it's close to zero, but it's not zero. So
Yeah.
then I go to the surrogate first and I say, if this embryo split into two, and this isn't the first time she's been asked, it's the
Sure.
second or the third time,
Or like
but
the
first time
100th.
on a
Yeah.
call, yeah,
Yeah.
first time on a video call. And so
Yeah.
then we go over it and how would you navigate that, um, and then we go over to the parents and say, is this also what you would like to do as well? They're, most of the time, I would say always they want to say yes, of course,
Oh,
if it's
yeah.
safe for her, if it's safe for
Right.
her. And I love that too. I love when those questions come up because then they can revert back and show her, I care about your safety and I care about your health,
Yeah.
right? I'm not putting
Yes.
you at risk.
Yeah. I do hear that in meetings too. I mean, again, I'm speaking from my own experience, but like it is very comforting to hear
Yeah.
because like I'm as much as I am in here to be a surrogate and like help you get a baby,
Yeah.
kind of like to Earthside, like it always was like, oh wow, wait, this isn't at this moment in time, this isn't a transactional. You're not
Right.
coming into this transactionally because you're saying, well, we want you to be healthy and safe. Like let's see, like how you are because that comes first. And it's like, oh. And I always, always, always valued people who said that. I've known a
Me
couple of people
too.
who don't say that, and I'm like, next match meeting, please.
Yeah.
So, but that's huge. So,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And then we do talk about termination on the call.
I was gonna
And
ask.
of course, I've reviewed profiles and feelings before I put people together. So this should not be a surprise to anyone. Everyone should
Right.
already know the answers to that specific match.
Okay,
But
good.
I'll say, a lot of our embryos are genetically tested. And so almost the exact sentence I say is, these embryos have been genetically tested. We know as much about them as we can possibly know.
Hmm.
Would you let the parents, do you feel comfortable letting the parents make the decision around termination? And then they'll say yes or no. And then if it's a no, we talk, and this is done well in advance of the call, but we talk
Sure.
about where she's comfortable at with
Okay.
termination. And so
Oh,
then, and I've already explored that with the parents before I put them together on this call to
that's
make sure that it's the
crazy
right match.
comforting to
Yeah.
know that. Because
Yeah. Thanks,
oftentimes
Kennedy.
no, because like oftentimes I'm trying to put myself back. I haven't been in a match call in
Sure.
years, but like when you're in them, it's like, do these people know what I'm gonna say? Like, and I feel like I'm saying it
Yeah.
for the first time. I'm like, these people have no idea what's about to come out of
Yeah.
my mouth.
Yeah.
They're gonna hate me after I say whatever it is, or they're gonna not agree with whatever it is. So it's nice to know that no, wait, we do have we do
Yeah.
have these talks and things are very well aware before we're like, let's throw you guys into a match meeting.
Yeah.
That's very comforting to know.
And truly, like, I want this match meeting to work for you as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah.
I want you to walk away saying, this is amazing, this is my person, or this is the family I want to help. Like,
Yeah.
I want this to be a time where you're excited and happy with the match. And if you're not, then I'll hold you there too, right? This
Yeah.
doesn't have to go forward if it's
Okay.
not a match for you, but really taking the time and putting people together that I know are going to be in alignment on the journey forward.
Yeah. No, one- good. You're one of the good ones.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and
Can
I
we
do.
talk?
It takes some homework on my side, but it's
I
worth
can
it,
only
right?
imagine.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
lot more than homework. That's a lot of research. My
Yeah.
goodness. But you guys talk about termination, and then is that like the last hard conversation you have in the meeting?
Yeah, yeah, I would say it's the last hard conversation. And
Okay.
then, we talk about staying connected after the baby and what their hopes
Oh
are
yeah.
for there.
Yeah.
So that's it's not really a hard conversation, but
Yeah. It's an
I want to make
unknown.
sure that that's explored. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and then we really just open it up to questions. And we do talk about breast milk and pumping, but not on every call. I do bring it up, but it's sometimes parents don't know what they want to do, and so
Sure.
I always lean that over to the surrogate and say, I know that if you're open to pumping, I know that it might not work the same, you know, for
Right.
pumping for with a baby that's not with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
so I know that it may not work.
Yeah.
But if they do decide that they want this, are you open to exploring that? And then she'll say what her feelings are and if it actually worked for her in the past, right? It's not
Right.
really about wanting to. Sometimes our bodies just don't work the way we want them to. And it's different per different pregnancies, right? Yeah.
100%. Yep. I would always say, I mean, I never breastfed, but my answer would
Yeah.
always be, I don't know. I'll have to tell you when the baby's here.
Yeah.
Because
I'll try.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Not sure. Yeah. Of
I won't
course.
know until that happens.
Yeah. And if like pre-match, if a parent had said it's really important to me that she pump, which
Okay.
is very rare, actually, I don't have any parents that
I was
say
gonna
like that's
ask,
the
is that
one most important thing. I don't
okay?
have that. But
Okay.
if they had said that, then I would explore that with her before I put them on a match call.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
so just doing your thorough research
Yeah.
before we're throwing
Yeah.
everybody into a big pot.
Yeah, I'm protective of people's feelings, like
That's
their
great.
emotions. I know that this takes the time to be on
Mhm.
this match call,
Yeah.
and it's really vulnerable. And
Oh yeah.
so my goal is to have this be the match. And
Yeah.
so, like, when you get together on a call, this is your match. And so it does take a little bit of research before you get them together on that call, just to make sure it's good. It's a good match for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and it's nice
Yeah,
that, everybody hopefully comes transparent.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean, especially if you're saying one thing to your coordinator, right?
yeah.
I would assume it would be the same thing along the way. So it's
Mhm.
not going to really, there shouldn't be any shock factors
Completely
within
agree.
it.
Right, right.
I I'm gonna throw a little example at you because I
Okay.
had a very big shock factor that turned my whole journey upside down.
Oh,
So
I'm
I
so
can't go
sorry.
super specific, but I can give
Okay.
enough information. So in a match call,
Mhm.
um, it was just sprung like, hey, would you go see a special doctor
Mm.
for such and such things, even though it's not necessary? And I said, well, if it's not medically necessary, no. And should have known that that's when everything turned. But when something comes up like that and it was really strong on their end that they wanted this to be done and I was very strong on my end saying no, no, no. Our coordinator seemed to have fibbed to both of us, maybe.
Oh,
I don't know.
terrible, Kennedy.
I don't know. So I'm just curious when a my point of this question is when a little hiccup comes in the match call where
Uh-huh.
it's like, oh, that's something new that you're hearing, right? Because you've talked to both, you've done the research
Sure,
and everything like that. How is that navigated?
sure, sure. I would seek clarification there. So I
Okay.
would say, just so I'm understanding, you're asking this, right?
Hmm.
So seeking clarification, making sure I understand what they're asking, and then letting the surrogate know that she doesn't have to have the answers right now. So
Okay.
if she wants to do a little research on that, she can always come back with that. I'm happy to help her do the research, or she can do that independently or in addition to. So just digging in a little bit differently and looking at what that would mean.
Yeah.
So if, and I'm just kind of randomly pulling this out, but what if the parents wanted her to do acupuncture or wanted her to have
Sure.
I'm trying to just think of an additional therapy. What does that look like for her? What does the time look like? What is the
Right.
what does it really look like?
Yeah.
And if she's, nobody really loves needles anyways. So
No.
is it, but I would take it kind of off the hot spot
Okay.
and let it be researched on the side and then they could
Okay.
always come back.
Okay. Well, I love that answer.
Yeah.
That's it's a great way to let
Yeah.
everybody kind of like soak it in and be like, is this for me? I can't give you a
Yeah.
spot on answer right here, right now,
Yeah.
because I haven't done the research, like you
And I
said.
would save it and protect it because to
Okay.
the parents, they've probably, I mean, and I'm not sure of what the extra therapy would be, but
Yeah.
at that point, prior to that match call, they've probably done everything they can possibly do to become pregnant, right?
Right.
And so if someone told them to stand on their head, they would do it, right? Because this, if
Right.
that meant success, then they would do it. So
Right.
so their lens is very different than a surrogate's lens who's
Yes.
not had pregnancy complications, not had
Super
struggles,
right.
right? And
Yep.
so giving her the time to research it, because for them, maybe that feels normal to them because that's what they did. But to her, she hasn't had that. So I would just take it out of the hot spot,
Okay.
allow time for research off the call, and then I would probably jump back in on, the other items in the list.
In the
And so
talking
I
point.
might say, like, if I've gone through everything on my list, I might say, are there any other questions on your list that you'd like to discuss? And then,
Okay.
let them
Yeah.
look at that and then
Kind of like
come
go
back.
away from that topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then I go, and we'll circle back on that, right? I
Yeah.
won't make sure that's not lost, but
Right.
we'll take it off the call. And then
Okay.
I would go over to her, and then if her spouse or partner is there, then I would invite them for their questions too.
Wow.
So
Okay. No,
yeah.
that's a great way to, it's comforting to know that. It's
Thank
comforting to
you.
know that.
Yeah. I don't always, it's like I don't always bat 1,000, but
Yeah,
I try. And I think
for
that
sure.
all of us have vulnerability. And I remember when Don had asked me to do those match calls in the beginning, and this was like almost 4 years ago, but I thought, I'm never going to be able to navigate that awkward silence, right? Like,
Oh,
how am I going to navigate the
sure.
awkwardness of something? If it's awkward, how do I
Right.
fix it? But now I love match meetings. And I actually, just even talking about it to you, I have like a little skip in my step, like a little, I just love them.
Well, it shows on your face. Like it's just like you're very
Thank
passionate
you.
about it, which is very sweet. And you should be. Like it's a
Thank
very matching is not an easy task. I mean, like we
you.
all really hope and like dream that like it really is. Like,
Sure.
I'm gonna sign up to be a surrogate today and tomorrow I'm gonna get matched. Nope.
Right.
Like so not the case. Wish it
Yeah.
was. But
Yeah.
thankfully all these steps are in,
Mhm.
there so that way it is a safe match. It is a good match.
Yeah.
That is everybody's end goal. And
Yeah.
so, no, I think that that's wonderful. So when their match meeting is done, is the match meeting done then when all the questions have been asked?
Yeah. When all the questions have been asked and some fun, right? There's some fun and there's some serious questions and there's
Yeah.
some lighter questions. And then I'll say, I don't want you to tell me now on the call. I want you to take some time, and come back to me with, tonight, tomorrow, the next day. Let me know if this match feels right for you. I'll communicate with the other one. And then I also give them an update on where we are with the medical records review. So I'll say, I sent your medical records out last week, and so it takes this clinic 3 weeks usually, and so I'll get back in touch with you in the next 2 weeks and let you know what the clinic said, and I kind of give them an idea of what that timeline looks like.
Wow.
And then I stop to say what the next steps are, right? So
Mm.
once you have a match meeting that everyone says yes, you have a records review that the clinic says yes, that's a match for everyone. And then we can move forward in setting up escrow, signing all the documents with the agency,
Wow.
and moving on to in person medical screening.
Just get that
Yeah,
ball rolling.
that's right. That's right. Absolutely. And we do work hard to keep that ball rolling.
Yeah. Oh no, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, once a surrogate, I'm sure the IPs feel the same way because once
Mhm.
that ball gets rolling, we want to keep it rolling. Like we're gonna
Absolutely.
push it up the hill if
Yeah.
we have to ourselves. Like
That's right.
we're
That's
like,
right.
no
That's
way,
right.
do not lag on us.
That's
Like,
right.
yeah.
Oh, and Kennedy, I forgot to
Yeah.
say one thing that we do connect the surrogates and the IPs together. So, with
Before, wait, when?
after the match, so after it's an agreed upon match.
Okay,
So once the doctor says yes, once the parents say yes, and once the surrogate says yes, that we put
good.
you all together. And so
As you
we
should, Kimberly.
absolutely, and so we, support relationships, connect them right at match call.
Good.
Yep.
You should. You
Yep.
should because you know what? It takes you have to develop that relationship. Like you really
Absolutely.
do. You can't
Yeah.
just develop it overnight.
No.
And you can't just develop it over 9 months. I mean,
No.
you could surely try,
Right.
but like,
Right.
it's not a one night stand. Like,
Right.
like these
Yeah.
people you guys are in a very, very, very intimate journey.
Absolutely.
And like, you kind of need to know who's carrying your baby.
Absolutely.
Who are you carrying this baby for? Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know. It never seems to hurt to get to know
I
somebody.
completely agree. And what I want to hear also from the parents is I really do want to hear that they asked questions about her family. Like,
Aw,
in my questions, I ask about the pregnancy, right? And I do
yeah,
ask for the introduction, but like circle back, ask about her kids, ask
yeah.
about, their weekends. What do they usually do?
Yeah.
I want to know that they care about her family as well as her.
That's very sweet. No, and that's so true.
Mhm.
I mean, you're saying all the things that are green flags and that you
Mhm.
should look for. Now, if it slips the mind, like, because, they're so
Sure.
excited and like maybe they don't ask like one question here or there, like, that doesn't mean it's a red flag.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's the nice little things. And like vice versa. Like, even if like
Yeah.
intended parents had kids,
Yes.
oh, like, are they excited to be a big sibling? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, it
Yeah.
can go both ways. Or, oh, I always liked asking, is this the first grandchild? Like, like I was just always
And
like,
sometimes it is.
right, it
Yeah,
is.
that's
And
so
then that's
exciting.
just more love on this baby. And it's like, cool. So it can
Yes.
go both ways. Questions can go
Mhm.
both ways. Really, they
Mhm.
can. So,
Absolutely.
oh my
Absolutely.
gosh. Did we forget any?
I loved this, Kennedy. Thank you so much.
Right.
You made everything so natural and calm, and I love it. I loved it. Thank
Oh,
you.
well, I love it. And like I told you before we started, I'm obsessed with your Snow White voice. Like I literally like no wonder you're in charge of match calls. Like you're like, it's okay, guys. We don't like we're gonna be calm and like cool. And I need you to put me to sleep every night. Like this is just so peaceful.
Oh, it's really nice of you to say.
No,
It's really nice of you
seriously.
to say.
Yeah, but
What
no,
the funny?
this is just like a wonderful way to do a match call.
Yeah, I love it, and that's why I love match calls. Like
Yeah.
I can't believe now that I was nervous to do match calls because I love it now. Now it's a bucket filler for me. It
Oh,
really does make it. I love it. I can't imagine not doing them. Like it,
right.
I like it so much.
I mean,
So
how could you not? Like, I'm sure like 9 times out of 10, it's like the best. I get off of a match
yeah.
call and I'm on a high. I can't imagine
Mhm.
how, the coordinator's like, yes, finally, like all this research, all this hard work, like
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. Like they love each other. They're all willing to do
Yeah.
it. Like that's just like a double whammy. Like you get double the joy.
And you feel like you're seeing people in a vulnerable time and
Yeah.
you're seeing them take care of each other. And wow, that is a really good feeling,
Oh, I love
right?
that.
It's
It's so true.
it's true. Yeah.
It's so true. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh my gosh, this was just an absolute delight. Thank
Thank
you.
you too. You too. It
Yeah,
was really lovely. Thank you so
it
much for
was.
having me.
Oh my gosh, anytime. Thanks for breaking down the match call. I can't believe we have never done this.
I hope it's helpful, right?
No, it
Yeah.
definitely will be. We've had questions throughout the years and we've sprinkled them into podcasts, but we've
Sure.
never, I can't remember for the life of me sitting down and being like, this is the process of a match call. We've had surrogates come on and be like, this is how I was matched and things like that. But to hear both sides, I think is really helpful. I mean, for me, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air if I ever got to like go to a match call again, being like, oh, okay, so you guys already know all my answers. We're good. I'm not going to scare anybody away right now. I think
No.
that's like, that was my biggest fear is like, I'm going to scare somebody away. Like, I have to be so proper and prim and like, just, just here, like, just perfect. And like, no, I'm a mess. And like, but I'm a beautiful mess. So why don't we, why don't we just get on the messy train together? I'm,
Fun.
I'm sure IPs feel the
Very
same
fun.
way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you again, Kimberly. This was wonderful.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. Thank you
Yes.
too. Very much.
So,
And now my cheeks hurt from smiling.
Oh, I love it. Good. I love it. So, where can people find your agency?
On our website at US-surrogacy.com.
Okay, perfect. Amazing. Well, thank you, Kimberly. This has been lovely. I will put it in the descriptions. That way people can just click it and go check you guys out. So,
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kennedy.
yeah, thank you. Have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Kimberly, for that lovely breakdown of match calls. I can't believe we've never done that before. Definitely very insightful. And just, yeah, kind of like a breath of fresh air to know that you're not completely going in without anybody knowing anything. Maybe I'm the only one who felt like that. I could have been. So, forgive me. But if anybody has any questions or stories they would like to share, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Stop.Sit.Surrogate or at our email at Stop.Sit.Surrogate@gmail.com. And this has been another episode of Stop.Sit.Surrogate. See you guys next time. Bye.
Before we wrap up, a huge thank you to our sponsor, US Surrogacy. Their support helps us continue to share real stories, educate our community, and connect families through the incredible journey of surrogacy. Thanks so much for tuning in to Stop.Sit.Surrogate, where every story matters and every journey is worth sharing. We'll see you next time.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. Also, check out the link to our YouTube channel in the description. And be sure to also check out our children's book, My Mom Has Superpowers, sold on Amazon and Etsy.